Night, guys. It's been a while since you all have seen me, and people have been messaging me, asking me what's going on. I do have a life outside of these little videos here, and let me see if I can bring this down a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Yes, I was dealing with a health issue, and so I'm not here for immigration questions tonight. I have something else that I want to talk about, guys. I have a list of things I want to talk about in the next coming days. So put that aside. Oh, there's someone there with my last name, Joel Vibes Brian. Hi, Joel Brian. Anyway, I was debating for quite a while on whether to talk about this subject. Someone recommended me tonight strongly against doing it, but the more I've been thinking about it, the more I think that I have to say it, to speak on this. So I hope people don't get up in their feelings. The video that I have had the most views here on TikTok, I think it's 50-something thousand views. I wish that amount of people would follow me, like and share the video. But, sometimes even when I don't want to laugh, because it's a serious subject, I have to laugh. Because you people put me in a real predicament where I have to speak on some issues. And so, join your fan club, Joel. So I'm going to go with the majority of people that asked me to speak on this, that have been sending me videos, and not follow who recommended me not to do it. So my first disclaimer, this video is about Jamaicans. Yes. Jamaicans. Majority of Jamaicans, a lot of Jamaicans, a significant amount of Jamaicans. This video is about you. Some of you know who you are because you are out there making videos on social media, and you have all right to do that. But I want to say, back to my disclaimer, I have Jamaican heritage in me. My mother, maternal, on my mother's side, her mother's father, I believe, was a Jamaican. I have I have cousins who were born and raised in Jamaica, who schooled in Jamaica. I also have nieces, my heartstring next to my children, nieces and nephews that I'm very close to that have Jamaican mothers. At least 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have at least 4 nieces and nephews who have Jamaican heritage. I have a very multicultural family. Trust me when I say that. From all backgrounds. But what I want to talk about tonight is, I don't even know where to start, but that was my disclaimer. I know people are gonna, I don't want to wake up tomorrow morning and see the amount of comments I'm gonna get after this, but there's been a significant amount of videos being made about the Cayman Islands, more so since our new immigration reform. And so now the Cayman Islands isn't the only place that is engaging in strong immigration reform. All of the major players, the major states they're called, countries, jurisdictions, nations are are engaging and transferring to serious immigration reforms because they are trying to protect their borders, they're trying to protect their people, and they're trying to make their countries a more safer place. Now, I don't know if our immigration reform is more popular than the U.S. immigration reform, but I think we're getting hit the hardest by the Jamaican nation and culture, because we're so close to Jamaica, and it's so easy for the transference and exchange of people between the two countries. And so I know a lot of people are up in their feelings because of our new immigration reform. It's going to affect a lot of lives, including Caymanians, and I won't pretend to feel as though none of this is going to affect me. You all have to remember, immigration reform isn't only about people that are not originally from the Cayman Islands. Immigration reform affects a lot of Caymanian families also, because Caymanians are on the opposite side when it comes to having to employ non-nationals, having to marry non-nationals. So Caymanians have a lot to lose and to be concerned about when it comes to these new immigration reforms. And these reforms are coming, immigration is one of the only reform that is done so often. It's done, probably 2-3 times a year, sometimes maybe twice a year. We see immigration changes and custom changes, but I think immigration has now superseded customs, because customs used to be a major area where we had changes here and there more commonly. So I just people have been reaching out to me to talk about this topic, and so I decided I was going to do it in order to shed some light on some things that I feel would be beneficial for some of you out there to hear and to be put into context for you. A lot of you are angry because of the changes that are being made, and you think that it's only targeting Jamaicans. Now let's remember, the Cayman Islands has over 100, I think they said it last was 110 different nationalities from other countries. Now imagine that. If you don't know and you're always on TikTok and Instagram, search for videos that tells you how many countries there are in the world, and imagine that over 100 of those are represented here in the Cayman Islands. There's someone from over 100 countries, right? And the last statistics that came from the government, as far as I can remember, was saying Filipinos were the number one representative, so they had the most people here. I really don't believe that, and then Jamaicans. And so I believe that there's more Jamaicans here than Filipinos, or maybe we just don't see the Filipinos as much as we see the Jamaicans. But Jamaicans and Filipinos, we're just going to use those two nationalities because they do have a high percentage of representation here. They're all outnumbering Caymanians, and I don't even know if the Statistic Office refers to Caymanians, including what is known as paper Caymanian status holders, or just indigenous Caymanians. But Jamaicans and Filipinos have now surpassed Caymanians, and that means we are a minority in our own country. That should tell you something, number one. So this immigration reform, you can flip it how you want, guys. You're not gonna dissuade me, you're not gonna intimidate me or make me feel I shouldn't talk about this topic. But I hope by the time I'm finished that you all will take something from this and see things in a little bit different perspective, because like I said, I get sent a number of videos on a weekly basis showing what people are saying online. A lot of the videos are made by people who were either here before and returned back to their country, and it's primarily Jamaicans. I have to be honest, I'm singling you out, but I'm not singling you. I'm just being honest and truthful. Primarily, most of the videos are done by Jamaicans, and many of the Jamaicans are still here working and living, and they've been here for a number of months and years, and they've made Jamaica the Cayman Islands their home, and I doubt very much they're going to probably leave unless their circumstances forces them to do so. I know people who have actually lied, church people, I've said this before in a video, who have actually lied in order to maintain work permits and maintain from going on the rollover because they want to stay in Cayman. They could have gotten a US visa and gone to the US, they could have gone to Canada, they could have gone to the UK, but they chose to stay in Cayman. They want to stay here. Why? Because the Cayman Islands is one of the safest and most cleanest countries in the world. Not because I'm a Caymanian, I'm saying that. I see a lot of the videos online saying that. Tourists saying, oh, they've never been to islands that... I'm not saying Cayman is the only clean island. For you islanders out there, don't come now. But I'm saying, why do we think that over 100 different nationalities are represented here, and our numbers keep climbing and climbing with people applying for work permits, if this is not a place to be? This is the place to be. This is the place everyone wants to be. Now, for you people that says Cayman is not a real place, it is a real place. I've said that myself too and joke, but Cayman's a real place. That's why everyone wants to come here. Honorable Sir Alden, I don't like to call you Sir Alden, but in this case I'm going to call you Sir Alden McLaughlin, our ex-premier, made the Cayman Islands one of the safest places in the world to be during COVID. I keep hearing people giving him credit. That elevated our status on the world stage more than it was before. And so people come here. People want to come here. Our economic value and our beauty of our place, our very lax immigration requirements to enter our islands. We have one of the most, I'm going to say lax, but I'm going to use another word for you guys to understand it a little bit better. It's one of the most loosest immigration jurisdictions that people can just come, besides traveling inter-islands among each other. I mean, I think they really need to reassess how people come to this country, because anybody comes to the Cayman Islands and wants to stay here, whatever they got to do to stay here, they do it. And so that should tell you people that especially those that are here or that came here and made something in their pockets and left and have bettered themselves in their countries, that the Cayman Islands is the place to be. Because you just keep, for all that leave or that are required to leave, hundreds more are coming, and they would give in a heartbeat an opportunity to exchange places with all the criticizers, condemners, procrastinators. I mean, it's amusing to me to see how people get online and talk about Cayman, and I see people every day working. I see them out and they stop me and ask me, are you the TikTok lady? And then when I know they're making a video about Cayman, how terrible Cayman is, how the high cost of living. I'm a Caymanian, I live here, and I will admit the cost of living is excessively high, right? But let me tell you this, we are not a self-sustained country where we're not independent. We are not independent. So, for me, that tells me there has to be some sort of systematic way of doing things in the Cayman Islands in order for us to maintain our cleanliness, or safety, the standard of living in this country that causes everyone to want to flock to this island. Who is going to sustain that when we don't have independent ways of maintaining our islands? So I agree. Now everybody was crying for minimum wage increase. Now common sense should tell you guys, if you raise the minimum wage, then businesses establishments, entrepreneurs, everybody's going to raise their stuff a little bit too, because you know what? They have to maintain being able to pay that $8.75 minimum wage. People are still saying, oh, that's not enough. Economics 101, get online and Google, TikTok, Instagram to see you cannot simply raise minimum wage up through the roof all at one point. And the minimum wage was less than that before this last minimum wages. We, the Cayman Islands, I'm going to speak for the people of the Cayman Islands. Yes, sometimes we treat Jamaicans bad. Well, I shouldn't say we. Sometimes, a lot of times, I've witnessed it, I've heard it, I've seen it. Jamaicans are treated unfairly. That is true. But I can tell you one thing for sure. Jamaicans are not getting treated any worse by Caymanians than they are by the paper Caymanians who are Jamaicans originally. Now that, if it wasn't a sin to put the evidence online and cause myself to be in a legal position, I would release. Because people have said to me, go ahead and release it, go ahead and talk about it. But it is heartbreaking to see how Jamaicans treat their own Jamaicans once they're here and they have accomplished something and they have achieved something in these islands and they don't want to leave. They come here and they want a work permit and 30 years later they're still here. But the minute their own country people want to get a chance to, they treat them like the trash on the side of the street. I'm saying it. And who don't like it, that's okay. I can live with that. So that's one thing you need to bear in mind. Now, I want to say this for all of you criticizing the Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands last week released information, our Honorable Premier, showing that, again, the Cayman Islands was donating $1 million. Maybe it's over $1 million. Twice since Hurricane Melissa. Right? Now, the Philippines got hit by a typhoon around the same time that we had Melissa. I don't know that the Cayman Islands government donated any huge amounts like that to the Philippines. And we have a high ratio of Filipino nationals here too. And we have a lot of them that are Caymanian paper, Caymanian Filipinos. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anyone. I'm just using terminology, language, and wording that you guys would more relate to or understand. So our governments have twice since Hurricane Melissa donated over $1 million to the Jamaica, to the islands of Jamaica, the island of Jamaica. Nobody seems to remember that. All the people that are making these tasteless videos criticizing Caymanians, all those that are still in the islands working and complaining about the high cost of living. If you have a complaint about what's going on in Cayman, especially your living accommodations and raise of pay. Now, I'm working and trying to encourage the government to try to get out the law that they were working on regarding landlords and tenants. So it can at least give some people some relief and they'll have a place to go and file complaints like they have the Labor Department. But you people don't take advantage of the resources. You don't go to the Labor Department. You don't go to the Pension Department. You don't go to work. You get online and you gripe and you gripe and you gripe and you complain and gripe. Take advantage of the resources that are available to you. You have a right to complain online. You have a right to do your videos. Many of you do it for clout or for viewership or to grow your fan base and that sort of thing. And that's fine. That's the end thing right now with social media. But you have to be careful because you know what you're doing. You're stewing hatred and resentment and bitterness within our people against you and even within your own Jamaican people against you. And what is also happening is that it's almost becoming homegrown terrorism with some of you all that are here in this island that have made Cayman your home at this present time. almost bordering homegrown terrorism, because some of the things you say sounds like terrorists with some of the things you say. If I was the Cayman Islands government, if I was in a certain department, minister leading some of the parts of the Cayman Islands government, I hope this won't come back to bite me, but I'm going to say it. I would do what the President of America is doing and monitor people's social media and use that for when they are making applications in any regard to stay in this country, whether it's Caymanian status, permanent resident, 1 year work permit, 5 year work permit, 6 month work permit, or temporary work permit, or even a visitor's visa, or even an entertainment visa, because some of you entertainers are online too, criticizing Caymanians to the lowest, and yet you're trying to come here give entertainment and take advantage of that Cayman Islands dollar. So let's get back to the donation that our government so generously donated to Jamaica. Now, many of you don't talk about that, but I'm going to say to you, this donation isn't something that our government had to give, but as everybody, you rightly know, the Cayman Islands was once governed by Jamaica. We've always had a close relationship with the islands. Jamaicans are the first nationality that people would think of when they think of employing anyone, because we're all English speaking, we have similar cultures, and we in some way or another related to a Jamaican or a Cuban. I mean, that's the bottom line. So when Jamaica has gone through this hardship, we stepped in. Ma'am, Chrissy, I don't want to get in about if Jamaica gave to Cayman, because that's a whole other debate in itself, ma'am. We're talking about today's world right now. That's what we're talking about, Chrissy. So the Cayman Islands, and why I'm mentioning this donation, these two donations, is because the Cayman Islands did not have to do this. Let me tell you. The first thing the saying is that we are against Jamaicans. We have a beautiful, beautiful, lovely Chief Justice, who is the Chief Justice is at the head of the court's judicial system, who is a Jamaican. Her father, who was a judge here at some point in history in the Cayman Islands, was also a Jamaican. Handsome man, beautiful daughter, who is now our Chief Justice. Our previous Chief Justice to that was a Jamaican. I know some of you that do your other podcasts are going to jump on that tomorrow, because some people don't like the judicial system. You know who you are. Our Attorney General, Honorable Samuel Bulgen, is a Jamaican. We have Jamaicans heading up the prison system. I don't want none of you coming and saying, well, Caymanians are too lazy and all this kinds of stuff. These people work their way up through the system, up the ladder, come into Cayman, and deciding to stay and contribute to society and work their way up and got these promotions. Right? We don't always like their decisions, we don't always like their choices, but they're here. So I tell you about these people because they're Jamaicans. Our police, second in command on one hand with the police department, Royal Cayman Islands Police, is a Jamaican. Mr. Ennis. Nice man. We have a lot of Jamaicans here that pay good deeds to society, and I can bet sometimes some of them feel like they have to hold their heads down when they hear or see these videos. Some of the words that come out of some of the mouths, and now I know not every Jamaican represents every Jamaican. I'm just gonna say that and be honest. Not every Jamaican, but the thing about it is you have to remember Cayman has paid its penance to you guys, to your country, and now we're trying to give back because now we're on top, in a manner of speaking. I understand that our present government, and the previous one has a good relationship with the present prime minister. That's what I understand. But I want to say this: when people donate to another nation especially during natural disasters, right? They do it for humanitarian reasons, meaning they do it to help the human race there in that country. Humanitarian means they're all trying to come together, even though we're from different country, in order to think about the people in that country and offer help. I don't know how to say it any better than that. They also do it to help diplomatic relations, meaning political relations, so the two countries can have better agreements, better connections, better relations. They do it also to make sure that they're showing the people of that country, we care about you. But not because we changed our immigration laws and Jamaicans feel that we're targeting them, mean we don't care about Jamaicans. But every Cayman is an individual person, so you can't class all Jamaicans together either. But we care about the Jamaican population, we care about the Jamaican culture. But we can't do every single thing every Jamaican wants us to do and bow down. We have to protect Cayman first and foremost. Now let me tell you another thing that happens when governments give money to other nations, especially a country like Cayman. If we don't have to take it from, and I'm just saying I don't know this is what the government do, but I can tell you this is generally what happens in countries. The money has to be taken, most likely is taken from ministries and departments, or from reserves, or from budgets and pooled together, or the country borrows the money and it has to be repaid. The Cayman Islands government likely borrowed the money to donate to Jamaica because we could do it and Jamaica needs the help. They likely took some money from some of the ministries that are allocated budgets. I don't know. They likely took some money from our reserves. I don't know. But I can tell you that's usually where some money comes from. They have the World Bank. I don't know if the Cayman Islands government borrows from the World Bank. I do believe they borrows from I think it's called the Caribbean World Bank or something like that. Is where I heard in Parliament that they borrow money from. But wherever the money comes from, we know it's not belonging to the actual members of the Cayman Islands government. They have to account for that money. So the Cayman Islands have put themselves on the line to secure this money, to open their hearts, to offer to Jamaica. That's what they've done. And so that money, more than likely, I don't know, but more than likely the money has to be repaid. It has to be made back up, right? It's like you get paid at the end of the month and you have to pay bills, and then you have to continue going to work to get paid again the next month or the next week in order to replenish your bank account, in order to replenish your wallet, in order to have that money there to continue to use. Like when you put your money in the bank, they lend it to other people. That money isn't the bank's money. It's your money. And the money that the Cayman Islands government has donated to Jamaica is not the Cayman Islands. It's actually the people's money that the government has borrowed and the people have to pay back. And by doing that, how do you think it's going to get paid back? It's like the rest of the world is raising fees. We have to do it. How do you think Cayman is so clean and so safe? Raising fees. If you don't want to stay here because everything is going up, you have somewhere else to go. Caymanians don't have anywhere else to go. We have to stay here and deal with it. We have to stay here and pay it. But some of you have other countries that you can go back home to. And as you always say on some of these videos, you can go back home to your yard and make a living there, and things will be easier there. And that's the truth. Where do Caymanians have to go? We have nowhere to go but here. Some people, I know some Caymanians have migrated to Jamaica because they're married to Jamaicans. I know people have migrated to the UK, to the US. Even I know a few people have went to the Philippines. Many people have gone back to Honduras or gone to Honduras. But real and truly Caymanians, sweetheart, whoever you are, nobody said all expatriates. I don't like that word. I don't like the word expatriates. But I just said to you, in case you're getting on here late, the more of you that leave, the more immigrants, transient workers that come and want to leave or have to leave, the more are going to keep coming. You missed the first part of the live. So nobody's saying to send back all the expatriates. And matter of fact, you know what? I'm not even going to entertain some of the comments on here because it's really going to get me annoyed. You all are entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to get on my live and criticize me or even on my social media pages, because I will block you. I won't block you for having an opinion, because differences of opinion is good constructive dialogue. And it's good to have other people's opinion. But don't come and try to make my live about something that it isn't. I am not going to say, I admit sometimes my own Caymanians gets on my nerves. Yep. Some Jamaicans get on my nerves too. Yep. Sometimes everybody gets on my nerves. There's no other nationality in this world that I've ever seen that is so patriotic like a Jamaican. No other nationality. They can meet another Jamaican right now and you would swear that they know each other their whole entire life. And that is good. I wish my Caymanian people were like that, because I've seen many of them overseas and they're not like that. But that's not what this is about. This isn't about sending expats home. I do not like that word. This is about people being grateful. People that are living and working here and have made the Cayman Islands their home. And not only Jamaicans do that either, you know, but the problem is that Jamaicans are the most vocal ones about it. They have the highest number of people that have done it. Not all Jamaicans, but a high number of Jamaicans. Some of you do not listen to my words when I make these videos, and that is the problem with some of you. If you notice, a lot of times I speak slow because I think about what I'm going to say. I'm not a person that makes notes and having to read because I don't have a teleprompter. So I think my words through while I am speaking. And I'm not going to talk because some of you may not like what I have to say. I just can't simply do it. Okay? I think yeah. Something else I want to say. High emotions are running right now because of our new immigration changes. Like I said, the changes are not only targeting non-Caymanians, they're targeting Caymanians also, because the governments of these days recognize that our people are also involved in some of their infractions that are going on. So you guys, in this instance, stop making this about a Jamaican thing. The only people that makes it as much about a Jamaican thing is the people that actually verbalize it out of their mouth and say that. Remember that we have been here in these times of need for the Cayman Islands, but nobody's talking about that as much. Remember that employers are watching your videos. People are sharing your videos around, and they're getting back to employers. They're getting back to the Department of Work. They're getting back to the Labor Office. They're getting back to the Pension Office. They're getting back to the entire government, because the internet has made the world a smaller place. Me, when I started doing these videos, let me tell you something. I feel like a celebrity. that I feel like I don't even want to do the videos now because everybody recognizes me. I have no privacy anymore. The internet has made the world, and social media has made it even more so, a very small place. So with the tap of your finger, you're sharing videos all over the place. And these videos, some of you that are on here working on work permits and stuff and not mindful of the little things you say, or you might have family members here that it might get back, because you know how small Cayman is, very small. So some of these things might get back. We don't want to, honestly, I'm just going to say it. And you guys wouldn't want people in your country. Nobody that's watching this TikTok is going to want people in their country that is going to make their people feel unsafe. The women are feeling unsafe. Employers are getting shakier. There's a lot of things going on. This immigration reform is not about Jamaicans. I can tell you what part of it is mostly about Jamaicans. I'm going to be honest with that about it. And that's these marriages of convenience and having these children and not wanting to maintain them. That part of it, I believe, is partially was a concern. But not every Jamaican does that. There's a lot of good Jamaicans here that have come here and married Caymanians and had good intentions. They've come together, they've formed a bond, they've opened very successful businesses, they've had children, and their children have come out very successful. There's a reason they can travel back to Jamaica, and they have two families that come together. I just want to say, appreciate what the Cayman Islands have done and are doing for Jamaica. Speak the positive things, and God knows it sounds so bad when some of you are saying some nasty, filthy language, really and truly. You don't realize how small Cayman is. You think landlords are going to want to rent to you if you need to move because they might have received a video with your face on it even though your name isn't there? No, this is Cayman. We're probably one of the smallest nations in the world right now, besides some of those other territory, Caribbean islands. But nobody's going to want to rent to people that are making these videos. You guys have to think about that. If you're not getting paid enough, if you're not getting your pension that you gave money for paid in, right? Go to the labor office, go to the pension office, or message me and tell me, and I will tell you what to do. You understand? There's so much of us making this information available. There's a whistleblower. There's a whistleblower news site. Caymanian Times. There's so much media in Cayman right now that you guys can discreetly and confidentially speak to about your issues, instead of just being grateful and saying, yeah, Cayman expensive. It's expensive for us too. I can't say that enough. It's expensive for us too. Trust me. I need to move, and the cost, many of you have seen me advocating for other things. The cost of real estate, the cost of rent in the Cayman Islands is through the roof because there's no rent laws in place. The government can't tell people how much to rent their properties for, but I tell you something. The government can intercede and intervene in the economics of the islands and cause things to happen that will bring some of these things under control. The government can do that. Whether or not they want to, that's outside of my hands, I don't know. But we are not an independent country. We have to have revenue generated. Revenue is the money that comes from all of the different services offered in the Cayman Islands through the government. We have to have revenue come into the country, stay here, because many of you, over 100 different nationalities, you work and you get paid and you send most of your money home to your families or just in your bank accounts, and then you stay in Cayman and you complain about the cost of living. You don't think, let me retain some money to help me afford the life that I'm living here, to work and get money. You can't send all your money back home and then complain that cost of living is too high in Cayman when you're not keeping some money to help you out. You understand? If you don't pay your pension, I'm going to speak about pension because pension is not something that you only get when you reach 65. If you leave the island and you have to wait until you're 65, there's a whole process. And when you go to your pension company, you tell them you want to know what the full process is. Don't let them say to you, oh, you have to wait till you're 65. They're being lazy by not telling you what you have to do or how much you would have to have in your pension in order to try to get it. Tell your pension providers you want to know if the staff not giving you the right information you want to hear. Ask for the manager or go to the Department of Pension and Labor and Pension and speak to someone. If you don't want to file a complaint and put your name on record, get some information for yourself. I did a whole video on that part of it. Stand up for yourself in the Cayman Islands, or when you leave, you can email and call to find out. But not recognizing and appreciating what a country has done for your country and complaining and griping when we just donated $2 million and you see people in the Cayman Islands sleeping on the beach. Caymanians can't afford rent. Caymanians are going to the Department of Financial Assistance. It's no longer NAU, so stop using that word, those abbreviations. It's now Department of Financial Assistance, DFA. Caymanians are having to go to these places because what? They can't afford, they can't get jobs, they can't afford. Right now, it's looking a little bit better with the job market because of the new changes that the minister and the government has made. But we're not quite where we are yet. All these increases affect us too. Don't think it's just affecting you guys. And not all Caymanians make a wage or a salary to write home about. Many of us are on minimum wage. I'm not on any wage right now because I'm studying, trying to finish a certain degree, but and I have to be doing that full time, plus other things that are going on. But as a Caymanian and knowing other Caymanians, many are on minimum wage. So I know it's not easy for you guys to say we have to send back home, but let me tell you something. When the government released the statistics of the money that's sent out of this country, that some of that helps for the economy to be jacked up. Also, in case you don't know, I know you don't understand what the word jacked up means. When you guys taking the money, not keeping it in the country and spending it, it makes the economy a little bit more expensive. Newsflash, a bit of information there for you. If you're taking the money out of the country and not keeping as much of it in the country as you can, it jacks the cost of prices up too. So I don't know why you guys put me in this predicament because people won't let me rest. They want me to talk about things, and I don't know why. Let me see, Captain Edley Martin, I guess that is. Let me shout out some of you guys. Oh, I want to send a shout out to, I'm going to do it another time, but I'm going to say it right here now. The team at the HSA who took care of me with a little small outpatient procedure last week or the week before. I mean, those people were fabulous. I felt like I was a diplomat or something. I felt like I was a member of government. I felt like I was a celebrity, the way these people were taking care of me and talking to me. And gosh, I don't have my fingers on the piece of paper with their names right now, but I'm going to call their names out again. HSA has been having some complaints from me over the past few months, but I can tell you, these guys deserve commendations. And matter of fact, I think I will compose an email tomorrow and send that in for their commendations, because these guys were wonderful. I won't say where they're from, because that'll be another thing. But you guys know who you are. When I was there at the outpatient ambulatory services 2 weeks ago, and I want to thank you for your hospitality, for your professionalism, for your expertise, and hats off to HSA in that regard. I couldn't understand some of the English with some of them. I had to keep asking them to repeat themselves, but they speak English. Their pronunciation and dialect is different than ours. But HSA definitely has something that I can see they can be proud of with that group of people for that time last week before last. Now, again, I don't want to see tomorrow in this video. I know it's very long. It's now about 45 minutes. Yes. But I don't want to see the comments tomorrow like I did with the video about the certain very famous expression that and you know, somebody messaged me and said today that expression has been widely used in the schools now. It is so commonly used by students in the schools. The one that I did the video with that I have on the laptop, talking about this expression that's used that's so derogatory. And I mean, some of the people that I see making some of these videos criticizing Cayman, the filth, the cuss words that they use, you know. I don't want to get in anybody's private conflict or whatever's going on social media. Don't call my name up. If you quote me, this is the evidence that I did not say so. I don't want to get involved in anything. I'm talking about what people say about the Cayman Islands and what the government has done in this day and age here presently to support the Jamaican nation and to form better diplomatic relations with the government of Jamaica. I understand there has been talks of importing more Jamaican goods to keep costs down, because of course, you know, the ships wouldn't have to come from as far. I understand there was talks too about bringing in products from Honduras and those other areas that are closer to us, and may help with bringing down the cost of goods. But you guys cannot you shouldn't give the Cayman Islands government for protecting our borders. We as Caymanians are their priority first and foremost. The voters, yes. But we also have we have our Bill of Rights. I'm going to talk about that. I know tomorrow some people are going to take my little suggestion and run with it and make a video of their own, but I have my own unique personality and my smile. Joking, but anyway, we have our Bill of Rights in our Constitution, which talks about, you know, rights of people who are in this jurisdiction. We also have International Bill of Rights that the government have to adhere to, the judicial system has to adhere to when it comes to what happens in this country. And we have been trying to do that. I know the government presently and previously have been trying to do that, and trying to conform with human rights standards, trying to bring some of the laws up to more modernized. I wish they would try to get me on some of those law review commissions and those committees and boards and all that stuff. They make these new laws very lengthy, but you know what? I am glad, because the country has grown so much that we need to try and cover our bases, because we don't want persons from CARICOM, from the United Nations, from all those other human rights organizations coming into the Cayman Islands. We don't want the UK coming here and telling us we have to do X, Y, and Z, because we're not thinking of doing it ourselves beforehand, you know. So Caymanians have to be protected. The people, meaning the Caymanians of this country, have to be protected first and foremost. But we also have to make sure that anyone that comes to these shores, whether working, visiting, temporarily working, just come here for to put on a show, or for a business meeting or conference or whatever, or you know, they has these seminars and stuff. Anyone that comes here in the Cayman Islands, we have to make sure that they too are protected. So the immigration laws isn't about Jamaicans only. And in matter of fact, you know what? They are not as bad as they seem. It's just you guys spreading the word around, trying to make it sound like it's the purge. That is what I've been thinking to say. You guys are acting like this new law is the purge. If you ever saw that movie, and if you never saw it, go and look it up. The Purge. You guys are acting like our new immigration amendments, reform, is the purge. So we're trying to purge all Jamaicans and all some other nationalities out. That's not what they're doing. And it's not as bad as it seems. What everybody just needs to do is be in compliance. Do what you're supposed to do. And if you're being wronged, if you're not being treated fairly, you're not being treated right. I made a video on this. I have on a yellow dress, I believe. Go to the authorities. You don't have to file a complaint, but you can go and ask advice confidentially. You can call. I'm trying to encourage the government to get some WhatsApp groups for persons who are not afraid to hide their identity. Because if you go and file a complaint, unless it's something serious breaching the law, majority of the time you have to sign off to say you want to file a complaint in order for an investigation and legal penalties applied, whether they get charged or take to court or whatever, whoever you are that's complaining. So you must protect yourself. And the other very important part in protecting yourselves is, if you need to leave a job and you're here in a work permit, protecting yourself shows it on record that you had concerns from before. And now when you want to leave a job, immigration, pension, and labor will see this person had issues on the job and they came to us. They put something on file. Caymanians, my Caymanians, you need to do it too, because the laws are there to protect you as well as they are to protect. Now you people that are here on work permits, and I call you guys immigrants or transient workers, you guys are afraid of losing your work permits. I can understand that. I very much can understand that. But at the same time, if you don't stand up for yourself, who's going to do it for you? You're getting ill-treated, your health is getting affected, you're working like a slave, that you in your mind, you're thinking that you're being slaved, right? And I don't know, because I don't work where you work. But you have to be the one to take care of you. The government can't do it if you don't take advantage of the resources and services that they offer. It's not only for Cayman. Let me tell you, I am pro-Cayman. Cayman first and number one, numero uno for me. Always will be. But I am also, again, I will also say, I'm also about people being treated fairly and the human rights being applied. I may regret that one of these days, but so I think I will wrap that up. I have been on here since 8:30. It's now 9:23. The person that recommended me not to make this video is going to be upset with me, but that is okay. I can deal with it. I know what I want, so I'll put in the work and leave. Far East, it's up to you, my dear. Like I said, the departments are there. You know, you can write a letter, you can go in and you can speak to someone. Usually you have to make appointments. And you can say, I just want to get some advice. I just want to ask confidential information, that sort of thing. And I'm going to say to you people again, be mindful when you make videos. I know people have a tendency these days of just jumping on social media and venting. This is the new therapy. This is the new going to counseling, right? And it helps us all a lot. But these things come back to bite you. A lot of people have lost jobs because of things they post online. They've lost good opportunities. I mean, we see it every day online. So some of you have to be careful. Talk to your friend. Go somewhere and hold up and on WhatsApp and just, you know, don't put everything on social media, because let me tell you, eyes are watching, ears are listening. And you have to appreciate what Cayman has done good for Jamaica. I did say it at the beginning that primarily Jamaicans I was going to be talking about in this video, because this is the video, this is the nationality that I most see videos and receive videos complaining about. And because of the wording that's used and just complaining, just not appreciative to say, you know what? It's my boss who's an individual Caymanian. I don't hear I shouldn't say I don't hear it. I hear one or two Jamaicans online talking about, and I see it on some of the talk shows and hear it on some of the talk shows, about how other Jamaicans that are here doing much better than the people that are here in work permits, how they treat their own people. It's appalling. It's actually, it's stomach turning to me. It's worse than knowing what my own Caymanians do to Jamaicans or other nationalities. It's a shame, and they don't care. Those Jamaicans that have papers here, they don't care. They have Caymanian status, so they consider themselves Caymanians now, and they treat their own people like dirt, like slaves a lot of times. So you must remember that too when you're talking about Caymanians, that you're talking about your paper Caymanians that were born in Jamaica. And just be appreciative for what we saw. We saw a former MP doing a release, I think that was today, working with a church, sending aid to Jamaica. There we have it again. We saw after the hurricane, we had some containers that were sending aid to Jamaica, and then some Cayman Airways have let me tell you something, Cayman Airways lost some money trying to work. It may not have been satisfactory to a lot of you, but Cayman Airways lost some revenue by playing their part to help contribute to people in Jamaica that were affected by the hurricane. So you see, Cayman has done a lot for many of you. And I know some of you that are complaining you're here working still and making money. You know? People that can't get into resident rentals because they have kids. I'm sorry, that Caymanians go through that too. Like I say, I'm trying to encourage the government. I'm trying to be vocal and encourage the government that they can squeeze the Residential Tenancies Amendment Act in there somewhere and try to get it out sometime this year, because it's now almost 2023. It's almost 3.5, almost going on 3 years, 2023. So hopefully that will come on board this time. So we will see that you guys have somewhere to, Caymanians and anybody that's renting in the Cayman Islands will have somewhere to go and file a complaint. Okay, so pray for me, pray for the government, and hope that they will turn their attention to that. This new government has so much to do because they want to make so much changes. And so we have to support them. We have to look and see what they're really. Yes, Javidon 543, I am Caymanian. You missed it at the beginning of the video where I said I have Jamaican ancestry in me. I have relatives who are from Jamaica, and I've seen a lot of Brian people on the back here. The Brian last name came from Jamaica. For all you that didn't know, that's why you see certain people when Jamaican independence come and they have Brian last name, they go and they get up on the stage and they jump up and showing themselves up and all that kind of stuff. No name call. They know who they are. Yes. So we